Hi, Adam. I liked your video about emails. Uh, it kind of struck me funny you mentioned that emails aren't uh, the fastest way anymore to do certain things. And, it seems kind of crazy to me as an older guy that's been doing stuff with computers for 30 years. But you're absolutely right. There's better and faster ways to do things now. Some things that you can just do in a text, you don't need an email anymore. But you also made a great point about taking your time to craft an email. You can get it started, work on it, save a draft, come back to it later. As long as you get it out in a timely fashion, you can take some time to get your initial thoughts out there, and then just save it as a draft and come back and make sure it's sending the message the way you want it to be sent. An example of that, a couple months ago, I had sent in an IT request to get a vendor's address changed. We had sent out a check to the vendor, and it tried to go to their street address instead of the PO box. So I had to send this vendor management change request to our IT people in India to get the PO box put on there, and the request was refused because someone in India said the PO box is not a necessary field in our ERP. And rather than take my time to craft my response properly for business communications, I just angrily and quickly shot back a response saying, whoever said P.O. boxes aren't necessary doesn't understand how street addresses and mail works in the U.S. Do it again and do it right this time. Not the great, not a great message to send. That could have been worded a lot better. Um, but I was frustrated and I didn't think about what I was doing and I just spat it out real quick. That's not the right way to go. Especially when emotions are high. You need to write it and then let it breathe for a minute. Come back to it a little bit later and say, am I saying this the way that I need to say it for this setting that we're in? And then once you're confident that you're saying it the right way, then send it. Um, One other thing, subject line, as you pointed out, that's a great point. The subject line is the big determiner on when your message will be read and if it'll be read. If it's a really bad subject or no subject at all, it might just never even get looked at. If the subject line is written well, it's to the point, it's concise and says what needs to be said, that might get looked at right away. That's that's the eye catcher. That's the thing that says, "Hey, open me now." So it's as you said, it's very important to do the subject line right. So I thought you made some great points. Thanks for your video.